Hey, welcome to another Valley Forged. Today we're talking about a pretty important topic, 50 or so ways and how to make money with your laser engraver. I mean, this has been such a blessing to me that I've been able to make a living now for years with my laser business, and I have made a lot of mistakes, but at the same time, I've had a lot of wins and been very happy because I'm doing what I want to do. I do, and the more of these you know, the more of what you want to do you can do, right? YouTube is amazing. I mean, you can literally just learn about anything you want to learn on YouTube, provided you know how to find it. And hey, I am always looking for videos like this one to expand my craft and learn about things that I just hadn't thought of. Because if there's other ways for me to sustain myself doing what I love, I want to know about it. I mean, it's bottom line, right? I mean, at this point, I'm not going to learn to code, you know? So I'm going to share my knowledge here. First, I'm going to go through all of the different types of ways that I have made money with my laser. And then I'm going to go through a list of more specific products and things that have worked for me or that you can try. Okay. So let's just get on with it. Everybody knows about craft shows, right? From farmers markets to specific shows, dog and cat shows, all kinds of things. There are little markets that you can join that aren't permanent, that you can do really, really well in. Some you can not make any money at all. Generally, farmers markets, you're not going to make a lot of money. Where you can have specific Christmas shows, and you literally, from experience, can make $10,000 or more just in a weekend. And it all just comes with experience. And sometimes a farmer's market that maybe I don't make any money at the farmer's market, but I get a contact where I'm able to make a lot more money, or I learn something. There's something about doing a consistent market that really teaches you a lot about marketing your products and what other people are doing and how to find the better shows. And I've talked about this a lot in my other videos on craft shows. And if you're serious about making a laser business work for you, I really suggest you watch them all and anybody else's that you can get a hold of on the subject. It's going to save you so much time and money and effort learning about what you're doing. So considering I do have a lot of videos on it, I'm going to leave it there. We have a lot to talk about. Second thing, Etsy or your own website. I would suggest it, me personally, I've done both, that you start out with Etsy. I'm getting ready to start my own website, but now it's at a point where I'm making a good amount of money from Etsy, and I know what sells. I'm making enough money to sustain a website. When you first start out, you're probably going to make a lot of mistakes. Etsy's really good for that because it really, the barrier to entry is very low. Now, I have ways of advertising my own products outside of Etsy, which gives me a huge advantage. The hardest part with Etsy is getting people to come, just like with a website, is getting people to come and see your products. The problem is with a website is the startup costs and monthly costs are pretty high considering you have no business. So you're going to end up losing maybe hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars by the time you get your business ramped up to a point where it's making money. And so it gets tricky of like which one is better, the chicken or the egg kind of thing. I personally, like I said, I would start out with something very low cost that charges you for when you sell something over having the higher monthly costs of a website and all of the things that go with it. And you're just learning your craft, but could be wrong. Maybe, for some of you, it will work better the other way. Understood. But that is another way most people know of making money with your laser. I'm going over some of the easy ones. 3, retail. I have had very good experiences doing retail, but there's a lot that comes with it. Of course, you're going to be selling your products at about half price, and you've got to be able to do that, first of all, so that the business itself can make money. But what else? You have to have tags. There's a lot more professionalism. You may even have to have your own racks and displays, prices, price tags, ways to put it on your product. There are a lot of factors that go into retail. I also had a lot of my wallets were getting stolen. Now, what I recognized, and this may be helpful for some of you out there, if you sell products that appeal to women, to me, the less likely they are to be stolen. Like, I've never had a pair of earrings stolen, but I've had quite a few men's wallets stolen. Maybe completely wrong on that, but I'm just saying this. Maybe purses are different, right? If maybe purses would be. I've never had a purse stolen. One of my purses stolen, but I have never sold my purses in retail. That could be an issue. So we'll see. But retail is definitely something to think about. And I would just literally go into the stores in your area and say, hey, this is what I do. What do I need to do? Be a noob. It is okay to be a complete noob and be upfront with the people you're dealing with. Hey, I've got these products. Let's work together. Once you're in and you've learned a little bit, when you branch out to other stores and other things, you will have so much more knowledge than trying to pretend that you're some big business and you know what you're doing. This is my personal thoughts, and try and work with somebody who you enjoy working with at first, and just learn and understand it from the retail perspective of what they need so that you can best provide what they need. And of course, during Christmas, as will go for almost everything I talk about today, Christmas really is your season. And I'm always thinking and preparing for the Christmas season. Although I do great sales, even my spring show sometimes is my second best show of the year. I've always got the Christmas season in mind. Consignment. Consignment is a great way. Say, when you're learning your craft, you're becoming better, you're going to be making a lot of products that you don't know what to do with. You've already given them all away to family and friends, and now you've got this stock and you think that it's good. Maybe you go out to some craft shows or whatever, and you just want to put something out, and it's not going to bother you that you don't have it. And it's better just somewhere else where maybe you can see if it sells. And consignment will work really, really well. I've done consignment and I've had some very good luck there. Personalized items. You literally can make your entire business off just doing personalized items. So that can be your specialty if you enjoy doing it. It's one of the things that lasers can do that you can't really do just about anywhere else easily. And there's a lot of machines out on the market that you can just take to a market and use a little battery and be able to. I'll be reviewing a new one of those here pretty soon. You can already have all the items ready, everything ready except for their name or whatever they want to put on it, and spit that out for somebody. And it is a great, great way to make money. On Etsy, you can do personalized items. To me, working online with somebody trying to make sure that you get everything correct, this isn't my thing. I don't do personalized items, but I do recognize that is a great business for the people who like to do it. Now, custom items, as Laser Lady said, I was checking out her video. Her latest video, she doesn't do custom work. And I have also gotten to the point a long time ago where I don't do custom work. It's just too hard for me to understand what somebody else has in their head. And then you spend a lot of time, effort, and money trying to make what they have in their head, and then all of a sudden it's not what they wanted or something like that. I just don't have the patience for that. Time, effort, money, it just doesn't seem worth it. Unless you're just making an absolute killing as far as money goes, I stay away from it. But I find that very different than personalized items for the most part. Wholesale. Obviously, I have done obviously wholesale, important. A little more difficult to do a lot of times just because the prices are going to have to be very competitive, but you can see a lot of people doing like pencils, pens, with a fiber laser or maybe keychains or something like that, where you can do something for a local companies, and you could just make vast amounts of these keychains or something that will work in many things. Like say you live in a tourist area, right? And having your city name or something there would work for all of the stores in your area. So maybe you have an exclusive retail, or maybe you do wholesale and you can sell it to everybody in the area. And maybe you don't have to do as much selling when it comes to wholesale. You just have a product. Either they want it or they don't. Laser reselling or affiliate programs, I have this obviously with pretty much every laser company. I have kind of whittled that down because I just don't want to work with a lot of companies. I try to stick with working with the companies who I feel comfortable recommending to everybody there, with a couple of exceptions. And, I try to be as upfront as possible that maybe I wouldn't choose it. But if you do have some sort of online reach, this may be a good way for you to make some extra money. School awards and gifts. This has been a great, consistent year over year thing for me. I've had to drop a lot of those clients because I moved and I just didn't want to deal with shipping and things like that. I personally just don't like shipping. It's just a pain that I don't want to deal with, but obviously it's important for a lot of businesses. But no matter where you move to, there's likely to be colleges or high schools or things that they're going to need gifts. They're going to need awards. They're going to need graduation gifts. This is something that I've done in the past. And once you do it for one class, they just keep coming and they call you. I just got called this year again for Stanford. And I was just like, no, can't do it. But it's really nice when you have these mid-year things that you can do large orders and make lots of money on consistently year after year. And then you can just expand on that. And hey, for a lot of people, that will be their entire business. So this is definitely something I would suggest looking towards. Real estate. Gifts for when people sell a house, they like to give away a gift. This often is something that works really well. You're also going to have awards and things for real estate agents and businesses like that are profitable for a lot of people. Pretty easy. You just get a nice looking cutting board from, say, a Hobby Lobby or something. And you can these are the boards that you just put whatever they want on, and that's it. Teaching, I think people are really missing the live aspect of things. Now, of course, you can teach online and make courses in lasers and things like that. But also if you have, say, a local makerspace and they have a laser or something, you may be able to I have done this in the past, is teach classes on how to start the business, or how to use the lasers and how to, make money with the laser or whatever. Teaching is definitely something that I think is needed in the laser space. Lots of people looking to learn how to do something on their own. Florists. And, COVID really killed a lot of the florists out there. Some of them are making a comeback. And this is a really great way. You can make flower boxes. You can make wine boxes. Lots of personalized things that florists need. And that may be a great way for you to learn your skills as well. which goes with the next one, which is weddings. Weddings are enormous. One of the first people I met, actually working out of the makerspace I was in, who did wedding things. And she was doing tremendous amount of business and would make things and just rent them out to the local wedding places. She had lots of things that were generic, and then she could do all of the table decorations and the personalized things as well for each wedding. It was just a win-win, and tremendous business to get in, especially if you have places around you that do weddings. Files. Well, hey, probably the major part of my business is files. I enjoy doing it. It's something that doesn't require shipping, which is something that makes it one of my favorite things. A lot of the files that I have purchased in the past were just terrible, and it required a lot of time and effort to make right, to use in Lightburn, or just, even to be able to engrave or something. It was just ridiculous. A lot of them were PDFs, or it just was crazy. And I'm able to make videos that go along with these files that make them so much easier for people to make. And I think that's a win-win situation for everybody. And so that is maybe one way that will work for you if you were like to make files, or can think of ideas that maybe will work for people that they'd really enjoy. Pet stores or pet rescues, another great way to get your products out there. People love their pets. Let's be real. And there are so many things that you can make that appeal to pet owners and will get them to fly across wherever they are to come to you to get your product. I have this happen all the time. People see, my corgi, the corgi earrings, or the yin yang kitties, and every place that I go, they sell. But if you also have them in specific places where, like pet stores and things like that, where people come for their pets, great way to sell like keychains and coasters and dog tags, or especially if you have a fiber laser, the dog tags and things. It's great business, and you could literally do only pet stuff, and it would probably be great. Kind of related to files, but not the same, is patterns and templates. Now, say people have a leather business, right? And they don't want the actual file. What they want is a hard pattern where they can just trace that out and do it by hand. This is something lasers do, especially a CO2 laser. You can make stencils and patterns and things that are really appealing to people that do handmade businesses. Business gifts and awards. So as I said with schools, well, you can do the same thing for businesses. I've done a lot of awards and different things for businesses, employee of the month, and just gifts that they give out at the end of the year. Or maybe they do conventions or things like that, and they need to give stuff away. There's just a lot there. And if you have any connections with some medium to large size businesses, there's a chance that they're going to need things like that, maybe even t-shirts and stuff like that, that you could just work all of this stuff into it, which goes with that, corporate giveaways, things like that, because I have gone to a lot of conventions that are specific, like say I'm a veteran, right? And I go to a veterans convention where they're talking about, service connection or some whatever. And they're giving away tons of stuff at these. Like almost every booth has pins and different keychains and things like that they're giving away for you just to come by their booth. All of this stuff made in China. Now think about this. This is the Veterans Administration of the United States. I live in the US, and all the stuff that they're giving away is made in China. So I think that you would have a nice argument there to say, hey, Why are you giving away stuff from China when you're the Veterans Administration? So these are some thoughts about how you can work with corporate giveaways. I can't really end this without talking about just general art. This is I wouldn't say a lost art, right? But there are so many things that you can think up in your head when you have a laser that nobody's thought of before. And you could just put it out there and just see how it goes. Just try to use your imagination and do something fun that you enjoy. It really keeps this whole thing going. Even if your business is selling pens and pencils, adding to that some just piece of art that you enjoy that kind of enhances what you do, I would highly suggest just trying once in a while so that you don't get bored doing the same old thing all the time. And you have a creative outlet that lasers are so amazing at. Now, let's get to some specific products. A lot of these are going to go along with the overall things that I was talking about. And hey, there are tons more ways, and I want you to add some. If you have a comment or a thought, things that I missed, which are going to be, 1,000. And that's the great thing about lasers is there's just so much. And so if I miss something that you recognize, just put it down below. Now I'm going to get into some particular things, and there'll be tons more of those that I miss. So I want to learn as much as everybody else out there. I am always trying to get better. So the products, keychains, I mean, they're a great way to make tons of money. I have made, $10,000 on one particular keychain. My cork chains I sell pretty much everywhere I go. Easy stuff. They don't take much room. They're very cheap to make. Just a win-win all the way. And so many smiles make so many kids happy, adults happy. Coasters go in the same vein. If you're a laser maker, I mean, it's a great way to learn your craft, understand what you're doing without investing a ton. And people love to buy coasters. And keychains and coasters, sometimes people sell just because they like you and they want to buy something, but they don't want to spend $25. They don't like you $25 or they don't like you $30, but they like you $5. And having something that they think is cute that they might be able to give away, that it's just out there, is a great way to have a win-win for people who just want to buy your products. Bottle openers, a little bit more expensive than the ones that I make, but they have made me a ton of money because they're so customizable. And I'm going to be making a bunch of new ones pretty soon just because I've had a lot of new ideas. But I have made these, a lot of the things that I went over as ways to make money, I have made money from bottle openers, and I've used them in many different ways. Jewelry, probably the highest as far as return on investment that I've ever had. You can have the same amount of materials that go into a keychain or go into jewelry, but the jewelry will sell for 4 times, 5 times the cost. 5 times the price. So why wouldn't you just make the jewelry, right? It's not that simple, right? Because if you only have one pair of earrings or something out there, chances are people aren't even going to notice it. So it does take, when you have keychains, I can just throw them out. So they're give and take with each thing, but I would not overlook jewelry, especially earrings, as far as a great way to make money, especially if you're creative. I have made a ton of money selling earrings, and I really, really enjoy making them. And I sometimes wish I had more time to put into making jewelry, actually. But that gets to my next thing, which is wallets. And this is my favorite thing to make. I think the only reason I don't make more is it's expensive to make them. It's a process, and they do take a little bit longer to sell. But hey, I think I mentioned in earlier videos, I sold out of my wallets last year, and I enjoyed making all of them. I made so many different kinds, and stitching is just so much fun for me. You may hate it. You may hate making wallets, and it's a process. I mean, I get so many comments of like, how do you get it to where you don't have any scorch marks and things like that? Well, on my laser leather files, I do have videos that tell you how I make my wallets and why they come out the way they come out. But it is trial and error for everyone. If you do it exactly the way I do it, likely it's not going to be too hard, but it's also not super cheap. But I find it super rewarding. I am looking forward to making more wallets. I have some other designs in mind this year, and I hope to. I know a lot of you love to do it as well. Purses. Yes, laser made purses. And this is one of the first things I learned how to make because I fell in love with living hinge. And I have a lot. This is going to be my next video, actually. I am actually going to put out my purse design. And I have never done that before. And I made it like 6 years ago just because I wanted to make sure that it was perfect and that people out there could make it reasonably easy. And I didn't have the talent to be able to produce that easily. Each time I made it, it took me a long time and it was difficult. And I literally just didn't have the skills to make the file right. And I have worked with Craft Closet, link below, of course, but I'm working with them because it's a lot of trial and error to make that pattern perfect so that everybody can use it. So, but you can cut out leather. You can make your own designs. There are many designs that are online and Etsy as well that you can do. And purses are definitely a much higher priced item. And it's nice to have that once in a while to maybe take a full day making something and just really putting your heart and soul into that and enjoying the beauty of what that is and seeing a face light up when they see it. You know, that's one of the reasons why I love making my purses. And I'm going to have a bunch of different designs out for that this year, is just watching people's eyes light up when they see it. Mugs and tumblers. This is not something I do at all. It's just never been something that I enjoyed. I do hope they come out with a laser, and I would love to review that is specifically made for doing mugs and tumblers. It's already set up. It's ready to go. That has a laser that measures the circumference. I know it's totally easy to do, but nobody's done it. I have said this in the past, and I really hope that a laser company would come out with a specific machine designed all around for doing mugs and tumblers. But a lot of you out there, this is your thing. You're going to love it. You love doing a rotary, and a great, great way to make money with a laser. Just because I don't do it doesn't mean it's not a fantastic idea. And with this, we'll go glasses, but sort of different because with glasses, it requires either a different kind of laser or you could do it not as well with a spray. But the new UV lasers, I think, are really great for doing glass. And you can do those for weddings and different things and make a ton of money. Not something I would probably do just because, first of all, I don't like rotaries. Second of all, you're going to have to deal with breakage. But if you are doing weddings, come on. It's something you probably should be able to just do. And you will probably could make all of your money just on that. And if you do, I hope you come back or you let us know. I really want some responses here for all of these things, like and subscribe and all that stuff too. Obviously, I'm going to have a lot of great content for this. But on all of these, I want people's responses to see what works and what doesn't work so we can all learn. Signs, obviously. You know, and it depends on what kind of laser you have and what kind of signs you make. But I have made signs for so many people. And it's just something that if you have a laser, you should probably be able to do. One particular one is like QR code signs for other people that maybe you're at a farmer's market with. This is one, everybody wants it. Everybody. If you go to a show, everybody at that market is going to want a QR code sign. and you could be the one who provides that. And that business can just go on from there. All retail stores, everything. You can make specific these signs, from bathroom signs to QR code signs to everything. Awards. I already talked about that for the overall businesses, but specific awards, or they could even just be silly awards that you give away to family or gifts. But awards are a big thing, and I think that it would be a good idea to just have that in your repertoire. And once again, like I said with signs, it's going to depend on what kind of laser you have and what you can do. If you have a fiber laser and a CO2 laser, you can do acrylic and then the metal tags and whatever. But if you have a diode laser, you're probably going to be using mostly wood. If you have a craft like I have here in the back, you can kind of get away with at least 2 out of the 3. So it just depends, but you can make awards no matter what kind of laser you have. Cutting boards, we talked about that with the real estate, but you can just make general cutting boards. Now, making the cutting boards themselves, I've always wanted to do this, like on a 150 watt CO2 laser. I just have never got to it. To actually, because obviously you're going to have perfect cuts. So it would make it a lot easier to glue things together and then be perfect if you could just do the cutting board with the laser. But I can't really say that you can do that without actually doing it. But there is a ton of ability to just personalize or take a cutting board and make it your own, make it better. Stove covers, something I had never in the past really thought about, but I know Clack Shack does a huge amount of business making stove covers. You need to have the right laser set up for that, but it seems to be a great way to make money. Religious things, like everybody probably knows by now, the Lord's Prayer cross that I make a standing with the video showing you how to do it. I've sold thousands of these and everybody seems to love them. I have some other prayer hands and different things that I had requested, like the Spanish version of the Lord's Prayer cross. These were all requests coming from the Lord's Prayer cross that I had made. And so I branched out and did those to where now I have a cross pack. So it's interesting. You make any of these things that are on this list, enough people see them, you get requests for other things. It doesn't mean you always have to do it. A lot of times that's a mistake. Like in the past, I make the corgi coasters, right? And so everybody wanted their type of dog. In the end, I found that to be a mistake because there's just too many different kinds of dogs, and very few people bought those specific dogs other than the corgis because, come on, they're corgis. So the generic dogs and cats generally do better, in my opinion. But that's getting off track. The religious items, definitely a really great way to go. Like the flags as well, or wherever you're from, the local flag, local things that go with your area. Definitely a great way to go, and something you could do that most people can't. Games. Yes, you can create entire games from a laser. In fact, I just had a request from my brother to make an Othello board, which I'm going to be making pretty soon. But there are just so many different kinds of games that you could make, and puzzles, right? Especially, say, a 20 watt laser, great at making puzzles. 30, 40 watts especially, you start getting a little bit thick a kerf. It's more difficult to make a really great puzzle for the most part. But these are typically the kind of things that I like to make, things that fit together as puzzles, and I really enjoy that. Gifts or jewelry boxes. So you can make a gift box or a jewelry box. Lots of different designs out there. Some that I made with gold flakes, right? I made a gold flake video. Really enjoyed that. And I want to come out with my own designs of these gift boxes. Like the one in the gold flake is partially my design. I redesigned one to be able to use for that because I wanted something specific. But I generally always sell out of those when I make them. Stamps. You can make rubber stamps. I have a video on this, and that is another great way to go. Use of a laser. If you have a fiber laser, you can do metal stamps. And that seems like a really great way. I've never done that. I have a fiber laser. I just haven't really got into that yet. But I would love to do a wax seal that it's Valley Forged. Ornaments. I mean, we talked about Christmas earlier. Ornaments. I have sold an absolute ton of ornaments. I use a lot of the files that I have for other things, and then I turn them into ornaments for Christmas. I always make a limited amount, and I just want to sell all of them out because I don't want to hold them for the next Christmas. But if I really, really wanted to, I could sell a lot more ornaments, and I think this is a great way to make money. Lanterns. Lanterns. I have known at least 3 or 4 people that their entire business is making laser cut lanterns. That's all they do. And they do really, really well at it. So that is something that you should probably have. And I'm, again, with like with the gift boxes, this is something I want to come out with my own version of here this year. And I hope to do that. So stay tuned for that. Layered projects. I have done videos on layered projects. Layered projects can be a lot more expensive when you think about that you have to use all these different types, all these different layers of wood, and wood is expensive. So you have to think about that when you're putting together a layered project. But layered clocks and things, we'll talk about clocks later, but little shadow boxes and things like that, those have worked really well for me in the past. So it's something that I would definitely keep in mind. Roses for Mother's Day. Wow, I sell a ton of them every Mother's Day. This is just one of the things. I wasn't in town this year for Mother's Day, unfortunately, because this is something that I really missed selling a ton of. Actually, I had just got back from a 3-month trip. So I wasn't able to really take advantage of Mother's Day this year. Definitely hurt my pocketbook as far as, the thousands of dollars that I made just on selling these Mother's Day roses. Wall art. So we had talked about art in general. This is what specifically you can make wall art. A lot of the things that are wall art, I turned into coasters or vice versa. A lot of the things that sell for you in smaller versions will make a really nice wall art as well. So always something to keep in mind. Dog tags, especially if you have a fiber laser, but you can do these in wood as well, is just tags for dogs. Work super well. I don't think I need to explain that too much, but you can also make dog tags like military style. A lot of people like those as well. Hat patches. Again, I know somebody else who their only business is making hats with a laser with hat patches. So that is also another fantastic way to go. Bookmarks. It seems silly, but it's just one more thing that people can buy. When I was overseas, I bought one that was obviously made with a laser. So they do work and you can sell them. So think about bookmarks if that makes sense for you. Wine holders. Wine holders are super cool. And if you have wineries or something like that around you, or even florists, they're going to give away wine bottles with their flowers, or even for weddings. Wine holders are super gorgeous and they're super like eye-catching. And there's some different designs on that I really love. They are way more expensive to make, and you have to have a certain size laser to be able to make them, and size wood. But when you think about all the wood and things that go into it, you have to make sure that you can get a return on investment for that sort of thing. But they are pretty cool. Bound books. Wow, there's a lot, isn't there? It's crazy. I thought I'd be over by now. Bound books, this is another thing that I'd like to get into. That's super cool. I have seen them in stores and thought, wow, this is really cool. This is something I want to do with my laser. But again, you see, there's just so many things. It's really hard to do them all. Brass coins that almost everybody with a fiber laser knows about. This is going to be pretty common thing. And I would say for the most people, it's not worth buying a fiber laser just to make brass coins unless you already know, you work for a company and they're going to give these out or something like that. I don't see the return on investment for a fiber laser, which is quite expensive for one that's going to do brass coins consistently. Is going to be a $4,000 or $5,000 laser. It's going to take a lot of coins to make that. But if you already have a fiber laser and you have other things you're going to do, like the next one I was going to talk about, like wood pocket knives or just dog tags or all these other things, well, it'd kind of be crazy not to journey into brass coins because they're so cool. And if you have these at your table or be able to show them for your business and things like that, there's something that really get people excited. Rocks. This is one of my next videos. I'm going to make with the fiber laser. And you can do this with other lasers as well. I am going to make a fossil in a rock, and I think that's pretty cool and something that can be useful for different kinds of things that you want to sell. And even for a way to keep certain things down on your table. Say you're at a farmer's market or something and the wind picks up. Well, now you've got a product that also can hold things down. So win-win, right? I mentioned before veteran stuff, and especially if you are a veteran, this is a great business. People love that. I think I sold out of my Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine coasters and things last year. Definitely a way to go with the flags that I make. I have the American flag file. If I was from somewhere else, I would make flag files for your area. Maybe that's a good idea for you as you take my idea, which has worked really well for me and that I enjoy doing, and you take that to your area and do the same thing. I mentioned puzzles earlier, so I won't talk about that again, but another great way to go. Whiskey smoker. What? You know what I mean? But I have once again seen people make their entire business on whiskey smokers. Now, I don't drink whiskey and I don't really understand the first thing about it. So this isn't something that I would do. Also, the people who I've seen do it are great salespeople because they have to constantly be talking to tell people what the heck this thing is. But it's really fun and they make great money. I have been to markets where nobody sold anything. The only people that sold anything was the whiskey smoker guy. So it definitely can be a way to go. Clocks, I have sold every laser made layered clock I have ever made. They've all sold, but they do take time, effort. And one of the things, I was dealing with a lot less powered lasers when I was making them earlier. And if one layer got messed up, there's a loss in money and time, and then gluing the things together. There's a lot to think about when it comes to making clocks, but they are very rewarding, very fun. And I think they make a lot more money than, say, the same type of thing in wall art, right? You just add that very cheap clock mechanism to them, and then all of a sudden they become worth quite a bit more money. So that is something to think about. Pens and pencils. Once again, a business that you can literally, that's all you make. You make your jigs, you get your things together, you personalize pens and pencils for local schools and businesses and things like that. It can be a great business in itself. Only reason I don't do it is because I don't want to. But it doesn't mean that it's not a great idea and you make good money at it. It's just not something I feel like doing. 3D maps. We've seen a ton of 3D maps out there and they're gorgeous, laser cut. You can personalize them. I think super, super cool. I just never did it, but it's not something that I don't want to do. Again, so many things. I just haven't got to all of them. I mean, the purses are probably going to take me the next couple of weeks, right? You only have so much time. Mirrors. Mirrors are such an underlooked thing when it comes to lasers. There is an unlimited amount of ways that you can customize mirrors in such cool ways. One of the first people I ever saw with working on a laser was an artist who put his art on the back of mirrors, and it was so cool. And to this day, I've never seen anything even remotely as cool as what he did. I mean, entire scenes and different things on mirrors so that when you look at it, you have a story there, like full length mirrors. Absolutely amazing. And the mirrors were pretty cheap. And he could sell them for 10 times what he paid for the mirror. It was fantastic. So for the right person, this is definitely a great business. And I would love to hear from people who are good at doing this. I think I have some pictures from other artists who do this kind of thing, but I don't have any pictures from the artist that did it. This was 6-7 years ago, and COVID kind of, put everybody apart for such a long time. I wish I did have pictures of that, but definitely something to do. Wow. I reached the end of my list, but by no means is this the end of the list. It's just the ones that came to mind for me, and you could see there's already so much. A nearly unlimited amount of ways to make money with a laser. So there really is no excuse for not being able to make money with your laser. It's just a lack of imagination or trying or this or that. Or maybe this just isn't the right thing for you. You never know. But if you truly love working with lasers, and this is something that, like me, you wake up in the morning and you're very, very happy to try something new, and this is definitely what you want to do with your life, I highly suggest just learning your craft, getting it done. I say many times it takes at least a year of full-time work to really, really get to the place where you understand what you're doing at all. And so a lot of people will probably quit short, and maybe that's for a good reason, because this isn't really what they want to do. They just thought, oh, this would be cool to make stuff with lasers and sell them. The very first time I worked on a laser, I went to the class and I instantly was like, this is what I'm doing. I was willing to just get rid of everything else in my life because this is what I wanted to do. Now, for other people, they may have to not quit their day job because this is a process and it does take time. And I've talked about this in many videos. So I really suggest you go watch my videos on starting a business, because there's so much little information in there that I have even forgot myself, that I have to go back and rewind and review and look at what I said before. And I'm like, whoa, hey, that's a great idea. I forgot about that. So you will never learn it all. And I know I will never learn it all. And I am always looking to improve or learn things that are more fun for me. So if I can make more money, even less money, but I have more joy at what I'm doing and I can still sustain myself, then I'm going to call that a win. So I'm always looking. Let me know if you learned something in this video. I mean, that's why I make them. And if there's other things that I forgot, or, am I off my rocker or whatever, I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next one. Love y'all.